When it comes to fat loss, there's only one reason why people feel the need to find tactics or to use tricks and tips and tactics to achieve their weight loss goals. And honestly, this goes for any fitness goal, but weight loss is the most common fitness goal in my experience. And it's that people don't realize in order to not just lose the weight, but keep the weight off, you have to completely change your identity. And so the tactic is people's way of either consciously or subconsciously trying to bypass that process. Now, how much you'll have to change or shift your identity honestly depends on how much weight you have to lose. If you have 5 to 10 pounds to lose, you just feel, a little fluffy, I would say, and you're going on a trip soon and you just want to be a little leaner, you're not going to necessarily have to completely change your identity to do that. But if you're someone that has, 30, 40, 50 plus pounds to lose, there is 100% an identity shift that you can't skip. And the more you try and skip it, the more you're going to experience that kind of yo-yo dieting process that most people go through where, they're regaining and losing the same 10 to 15 pounds year after year after year. And it's because they actually haven't done the internal work that's required to lose the weight and keep it off. I was recently speaking to a client who lost 40 pounds in the past 6 months. And we were just talking about her experience, her process, and so on. And she said something that got me really thinking. And it was that she feels like a lot of the content online, a lot of the fitness content online focuses so heavily on losing the weight, but not so much on keeping it off, right? So we focus so hard and so much on getting fit, but we don't focus on how to actually stay fit. What sort of lifestyle changes do you actually have to make to sustain these goals that you achieved? And especially because there is some sort of restriction that has to happen, usually when it comes to a fat loss goal, that you kind of get stuck in this scarcity mindset of this restrictive mindset that it's very hard to not go to the other extreme and binge or to stop moving your body, to stop working out, which is why that yo-yo happens. So the best way, which is not necessarily the fastest way, although in a sense it ends up being the fastest way because you're not going back and forth constantly, but the best way to bypass all of that yo-yoing is to focus on your identity first. Now, I know this sounds super like woo-woo and philosophical, but I want to get very tactical and practical so you can, actually apply this advice. And so where you should start is, whatever your goal is, create a identity for that goal, right? What does that person look like? How much does that person weigh? How much does that person lift? What type of workouts does that person like doing? So write this out on a sheet of paper in bullet points. It shouldn't take you longer than 20 minutes. Just the basic actions and habits that this person takes and has that, is encapsulated by, whatever goal you have. So let's say I have a goal to lose 15 pounds. So I'm going to weigh, let's say 150 pounds. And I go to the gym 3 times a week, and I have a protein shake every day, and I walk 10,000 steps a day, and I think about food in a way that's I have to eat to nourish my body, but I should also be able to enjoy myself and indulge every now and then, especially with friends and family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you want to go through not just the very tangible things like how frequently you work out, but you want to go through and understand how this person thinks about working out, how this person thinks about food, how this person thinks about fitness, etc., because that is going to be the most important aspect in terms of shifting your identity. You have to understand how this person thinks. Now, I want you to get a completely separate piece of paper, and you're going to do that same exercise for yourself now. How do you currently think about fitness? How do you currently think about food? How much do you currently walk per day? How frequently do you strength train? All those things, I want you to address those same things for yourself. And I want you to look at that gap. Look at the difference. The easiest part about this is in terms of the habits, the action steps, that's very easy to fill in those gaps, right? So if you're currently walking, let's say 5,000 steps per day, and your goal version of yourself walks 10,000 steps per day, you know exactly what you have to do. You have to make up those steps. The hard part is to fill in the gap in the mental frameworks, right? So if future you thinks of food as just sustenance, as mainly sustenance, right? With the exceptions of being able to indulge with friends and family. But right now you view food as enjoyment, pure enjoyment. You eat for enjoyment. If something looks good or tastes good, you are going to eat it to your heart's desire. The hard part is trying to make that shift. And the best way to start that process and to understand is to ask yourself why, right? For both versions. So ask yourself, why now do you view food as enjoyment? And really, this is what should take you a long time, because you're going to get into some core beliefs that you have about food, about your body, etc. And then I want you to do the same thing, and it probably won't take as long because you'll have a better understanding of, again, these core beliefs of why future you views food as primarily sustenance. So this sounds like a very tedious exercise to do, but it's going to actually just save you so much time when you start the process of losing the weight, getting fit, again, whatever your goal is. I just use weight loss as the example because that just tends to be the most common goal people have. But take your time and actually do this exercise. If people understood this, people would actually be able to lose the weight once and for all. The goal of your fat loss, the goal of your weight loss is to be able to do it once and never have to worry about it again, right? I respect the people who are like, 10 years ago, I lost 50 pounds and I never regained it. Versus the person that's, last year I lost 15 pounds, but then I regained 10. And then this year I lost 5, but I regained 3. And then, in the past few weeks I've been gaining as well. So, I'm just trying to get back on track. That person doesn't understand the work that you're about to do in this exercise, and that their mental framework is wrong in their approach to fat loss. You have to start with the mental, and that can seep into the physical. And yes, there are ways to manipulate your habits to seep into the mental. So it's kind of like more of a flywheel, right? Because, your habits are going to feed your mindset, and your mindset is going to feed your habits. But like I said, if you have a fat loss goal, especially if you have a major fat loss goal, you want to lose 30 plus pounds, I promise you doing this exercise is going to save you so much time so that you can lose the weight once. All right, I think I'm going to leave this video here for now. Comment below, let me know if you have any questions, if you like this formatting. But I just want to provide you guys with as much value as possible. I have a training system called the Basal 4x4. So if you are looking for a very, very simple and effective training program, you can go check the link below for that. And I also do one-on-one coaching if that's something you're interested in. And I will see you in the next video.